Salvino, how we doing?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
Good morning,
Doing well.
sir.
The nouns glasses. Love remembering about nouns every once in a while.
Yeah. I haven't retired the nouns classes.
Yeah, that's great.
I
So
never,
Salvino,
I never redeemed mine, unfortunately.
Oh, really? Well, we're still good. Which ones did you get? Did you get the classic?
The classic ones. It was like the first time they dropped an NFT
Okay, great. Well, I
ticket.
have them stored for you. It's safely stored in a warehouse pretty close to me. So just
I love to know it backed 1-to-1. This is what I like to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, we're still solving. We're still solving.
Okay, excellent.
deploy it. Steady lads, we're deploying more glasses.
That's great.
Nice. So Salvino, you've been a prolific builder and hacker in crypto for years, and most recently are the founder of a company that built Scoop and most recently Yapster. So obviously want to spend a bunch of our time today on the announcement yesterday that you're shutting down Yapster. But I think before we do, I just kind of wanted to ask or get a sense of how you like contextualize your broader strategy as a company. Like, you built Scoop before Yapster, just kind of a social token launch pad. Is the idea to kind of operate as a product studio, try a bunch of things and find something that sticks, or like how do you conceptualize what the higher level
Yeah,
strategy is?
I think we think of ourselves as like a game studio, and we're going to keep trying things, put stuff out there, see what works, see what doesn't. If there's something that has legs, we'd obviously double down. But I think right now in consumer, specifically in crypto, where there aren't really best practices for how to build a game with financial incentives, you need to just be like, you need to play and experiment. And so like Yapster, we ended up working for a very long time, and that's because our retention numbers early on were pretty good, and it felt like it had legs. And so we worked on it for a while, exhausted all options. With Scoop, it was like very clear early on that it wasn't going to work because we messed up the mechanism and stuff, and so we ended up shutting that one down earlier. But I would love to run parallel experiments. I'd love to run multiple experiments at a time, but yeah, right now our current mode is just release things as quickly as we can, short time frames, put it out there, see what works and doesn't, and double down on ones that actually do work.
I mean, it's really awesome. I got to commend you on the post that you made yesterday. I mean, there are values that this industry touts all the time, and people will say things like fail fast, but it's way more common to see teams fade into the distance and have end users experiencing the slow rug, as they call it. Yeah. So it's really cool that you feel confident enough to just be really clear about saying, hey, we're on to the next one right now, actually. And it makes me really excited for what that next one is, actually.
Yeah, I was scared actually. It's like every time you like post something or launch something, you're like scared. I was more scared posting this than I was actually launching the product, even after months of sweat and tears. Going into this. And I think that's very unusual in crypto, or that's probably unusual to crypto because everything is so financialized, and you have these like expectations of people that like really believe in you and have skin in the game. So it was a scary thing to do. I was surprised to see that most people had a very positive reaction. Actually, we thought we were going to get much more hate than we did. We did get some hate. Like I think someone created like an account called like Rugster and is like now flaming us. But that's, I would say, like a minority. Like the majority of people were extremely understanding. So that was, I was really happy to see that.
It's also a healthy outlet, right? Like people got to get there. It's the internet. They have to do it.
Yeah.
It's better that they have that outlet there than to do God knows what. As long as they're not mailing bombs, I think we're good to go.
Yeah. So Salvino, can you, maybe to back up, can you share what the initial insight that led to building Yapster was? Was there something from Scoop experience that led to it, or more just kind of participation and watching what was happening in meme coins more broadly?
Yeah, it was definitely an evolution of Scoop. So the high level idea behind Scoop was just like bet on the people you believe in Forecaster, and as they grow their network and get more engagement on Forecaster, you'd earn more money. So the specific way it worked is you'd collect profiles on Forecaster, these Scoop cards, a percentage of that volume would go into a pot. That pot would get distributed at the end of every day based off of how that creator did on the protocol on Forecaster. And so the emotional experience of somebody on Scoop was something like this. They would come in, they would see some pretty cards, they would maybe buy a few that they liked, and then maybe or maybe not, depending on how that creator did, they would get a push notification at the end of the day, finding out how much they earned. And emotionally, that was like a very ambient experience. It was like it sort of blended in. There was nothing intense about it, actually. Like it was obviously the financialized stuff, like it can create some emotional intensity, and like, but it wasn't all there. And so what we wanted to do was like, if you compare that with something like sports betting, where it's like, you bet on a game, you're engaged for like 2 hours of the game, and then at the end of the game, you either make money or lose money, and it almost doesn't matter. You're actually there for like the entertainment value that you get as a result of the bet, and then also the entertainment value that you get as a result of watching the game. And I think fundamentally that's what people are actually paying for when they're like speculating. It's for that entertainment value that you get. And so when we were thinking about what we wanted to build next, we knew that the shape of that thing was going to look something like a very intense 15 to 20 minute experience, and then that's it, right? And so that was like the general shape of this, and so we were working backwards from that. So like a live game that happened for like 20 minutes each day, fit that pretty well.
Got it. Yeah, I think also just this idea of how do you build products that helps create social consensus around tokens. Like I think there are many people that recognize the liquidity and attention dispersion challenges that exist on these launch pads like Pump. So it's like if you can create a game, kind of social context, this intense experience like you mentioned, and maybe help people emotionally resonate with the meme that comes out of it, can you kind of programmatically create runners? So I think the insight was strong.
Yeah, the problem is, of course, the problem is, of course, that I think it's just really, really hard to make it work. I think basically, like one major challenge we faced was like people were treating the game as like almost like an airdrop. Like it's like
right.
And actually, what you want is like, I think for these runners to really take off is like you want these like hardcore believers who aren't going to sell and have meaningful skin in the game and are just like. They're just like insane levels of belief. You need like insane levels of belief, and the mechanism does not really select for that.
That is a really interesting comment on the UX, I guess, because the game ends and it feels like a prize, which is why people probably are treating that like an airdrop, right? Because the winner was announced, and so it feels like a finish line, not the go button,
right?
To people, even though it's not that. It's interesting.
Nice. So, after you brought the first version of the product to market, and I think after maybe a month or two, you decided to go heads down and completely rebuild it. I'm curious what you saw over those first 2 months that kind of gave you confidence there was something here. You mentioned retention. Was it just like really strong retention, or was there something else?
Yeah, like I think I'm trying to remember exact numbers. I want to say roughly like after 27 days or something, like on the early cohorts that actually joined the game, like I think about 28% of people came back after 27 days to come in and actually join a game. And like if you just looked at app opens, it was even higher, which is pretty good. Like after 27 days to see that people were still sticking around. And so I was like, okay, look, like clearly people are engaged. People want to play the game. And so, but we had other issues. And so we ended up pausing games to like address those issues, which actually in hindsight was a mistake.
Right.
Interesting.
Should just let them run.
I have to say, the banner, the home screen or lock screen banner that Yapster had was like, very sticky. I kept getting back into it solely because I didn't know how to remove it even.
Oh, the live activity.
The live, it got me. That was awesome. I do wish more apps had it. It worked really well for us. I mean, it was so funny. It was like a random feature that we added.
It wasn't we just built a lot of stuff, and that one ended up working out quite well. Live activity is definitely like underutilized.
So then after you went heads down, relaunched it, played with the new product a handful of times and really liked it. But I'm curious, what was it that kind of indicated it wasn't working? Was retention worse? Was it just not growing? Were you just not getting the runners you knew you needed to get?
Well, so the problem with, so what we did was basically we paused the games after, probably like mid Feb or something like that. And then we're like, okay, look, we need to like take all of the feedback. And basically what was happening was, from an engineering point of view, we were like really stretched thin. It takes a lot of bandwidth to run the daily game, but then also ship features on a daily basis. It was just like, we felt like we weren't able to do like big jumps in the product. And so we were like, I wasn't confident that churn was going to like stay flat, because I could tell the sort of how I could just, you could just feel, how people are feeling about the product. And so we decided to like change a bunch of things at the same time. And we also needed to do like a smart contract upgrade, which is going to take a little bit. So I ended up taking it down for a couple of weeks. I think it was like a month and a half or something like that. And relaunched with V2 and totally botched it. We ended up building so many different things. I think we ended up we added vesting, we added a bunch of trading, in-app trading stuff. We added bonding curves on our own contracts. There's just like a list of features that we added that we felt like were going to improve the product and the experience. And in hindsight, it was a total mistake because, we had this thing that was like working before, and what we needed to do was like iterate from that point and change one variable at a time to see what is a good change and what is a bad change. And instead we just like confounded a bunch of different variables at the same time. And so we launched it, realized people fucking hated it. And then 2 days later realized, oh, we just spent, we just torched 40 days of development work. Let's change it back to basically the original version of Yapster, roughly. We kept some things, but like roughly, and then started doing again incremental changes from there, like sort of on a every other day we try something new.
The power, the power of incremental change. It helps end users like me who do really bad with change.
Yeah.
So then what happened? Like the incremental changes just weren't having the impact you wanted. Like what led to the decision to shut down?
Yeah. So basically, I feel like there's a lot of specific things that can lead to like really small, tiny, nuanced details, I think, can get in the way of something working and something not working. And it's hard to see which details are good and which details are bad. Or like sometimes you just like, you're not even aware of the detail that's like messing up the product. Right. And so, so there was a few. One was like, we weren't sure if one detail was like, people kept like sort of like talking about how the memes that were winning from Yapster were not what they actually wanted to win. There was just like, everyone sort of was annoyed at the end. They're like, oh, this isn't it, And so one major issue was like, it felt like the game wasn't actually reflective of what the players actually wanted. And there was two reasons for that. One is like, the original mechanism was like a Keynesian beauty contest. And so basically you vote on what you think everyone else is going to vote on. And so basically the lowest common denominator would win. It would just like Schelling points would win. So political memes would do really well. Like if something was just like, I don't know, heinous, it would do well, right? Like it was like, people were playing to win the game. And so that was an issue.
That's kind of true of meme coins broadly though, too, right? Like useless, like political memes. No?
Yeah, I to some degree, I think like in that format where you have like less than 10 seconds to like make a decision on which meme that you like or not, you just pick the thing that's like stands out. It just feels like the Schelling point. You very quickly act on it because the quicker you are to act on it, the higher your final score. That's different from like being in the trenches where you like look at something. Yes, you have to act fast, but like it's not as intense. That extra like 10 minutes or whatever makes a meaningful difference in the kind of stuff that you end up backing. And so that was a major issue, right? So people were voting on what everyone else was going to vote on, and they were trying to do it as quickly as possible. And so the stuff that was winning wasn't as good. The second thing we also had was like, there was like some people botting and cheating, right? Trying to like rig the game. And so both of those things combined led to people being upset with the outcome. So we ended up shipping a new mechanism, and that helped a lot. The next thing we did was like we also fixed the botting thing. We had to do a lot of sort of like anti-civil stuff, like using app test, play test, and IP detection and all that stuff, or IP tracking to make sure that people were banned, and that also helped. And there were just like a list of details like that we went into, right? So maybe the token delivery was too slow. Maybe the original free-to-play dynamics were like attracting the wrong kinds of users, right? Maybe it's because we were launching on Meteora, and so there isn't enough sort of distribution and volume at the end. And so we were like, the high-level goal with all of that iteration was like, let's try to set up this idea, the core idea and the product in its sort of optimal possible state, and then see if it works, right? Like if we can fix all of the issues that we think might be affecting the probability of generating a runner, and if we sort of like remove all of those variables and it still doesn't work, then like, okay, we feel like we've like turned every stone, and we should probably reevaluate some of our core assumptions. And so that's what we did. We just basically like, there's just a ton of those like concrete specific problems that we addressed. And then at the end of that, it still wasn't working. We were like, okay, we gotta like, we probably have to take a hard look in the mirror and try again.
Got it.
I'm really curious. Can I share my feedback? Is this an okay venue for this?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I would be super curious to hear your thought on this, because my impression when using Yapster was a similar experience that you outlined, where at the end I would be like, that can't be the winner. Like, how is that the winner or something? And the thing that I really felt was that it's just not high enough throughput. Like memes, it is a social algorithm. It takes thousands and thousands of shots on goal of people getting it wrong, of someone seeing it, misremembering it, reposting it before these ideas snowball into something that people can actually capture onto. So it works really well with open markets, but when you throttle it into a game show, it misses the human touch or something.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think what you're trying to get at is like memes are fundamentally, these runners are fundamentally like long tail. You just need like this insane, like brute force search, and we were trying to condense that into a single 20-minute game.
Love, beautifully articulated. That's a fucking killer insight to have in a single sentence right there. It's awesome.
Yeah. So and like we were like, okay, maybe we should like orient around way more games per day, and that might be able to solve it. But I don't know. I think there's like a version of this product that could maybe work. Like if you ran like a bunch of different games per day, like there's always a game running, and there's like, but you know, it's like now you have like this like cold start problem. There's like not enough network density to sort of justify that feature. Like you haven't actually unlocked that feature. I think there's like, I don't know, I do think about this. Like I think there's a world where if we had all of sort of these problems solved sort of beforehand, like in January, like I wonder, there's also some level of consumer stuff where like new thing good, you know, old thing bad, right? And so
true.
Because like we're sort of like, you know, we've launched, everyone's sort of heard about us, they've tried it, they're not gonna come back again, right? If they didn't like love it. So you really only have one shot to get it right. And so a part of me wonders, like if we were to like try this, if we had like had everything and we had this sort of multiple lobbies ready to go, could we have actually like scaled into having way more tokens launched per day?
Yeah, so I guess like where you are today, like do you think these like social consensus building meme coin games are a tar pit idea, or do you think there's going to be a moment where it works?
I don't think it's a tar pit idea necessarily. I wonder if someone will crack it. I do think there's like something to these like live games. I think you're just able to create like an emotional intensity that isn't possible with a sort of asynchronous game. So I think there's something there. I don't know about the social consensus to generate a runner. I would bet that there is something there.
Right.
Got it. Very cool.
Can we productize the cabal?
Yeah.
Legit. Yeah. All right. Last question before we let you jump off here. I'm curious, you know, looking forward, what's exciting you across the broad spectrum of consumer crypto?
Drop names, apps.
Yeah,
we need...
what am I excited about? Like what's out there right now that I'm excited about?
No, like, you know, as you look towards your next thing, like what primitives, kind of mechanisms, you know, early forms of things people are getting excited about, do you think there's interesting opportunity to
well, mechanism wise, I think the Zora like mechanism is super interesting. I love the like creator token, like that flywheel is super interesting to me. Like I think the like
agree.
You know what I mean? The creator coins that
For
is
sure.
paired with post tokens, which is and then the creator tokens being paired with Zora. I think that's like brilliant. It's like such an underrated mechanism. So I love that. Yeah, that's my answer.
Nice. Love it. Well, really appreciate you jumping on. Appreciate all the candidness and open sharing and just like building in public that you guys did. I think the communication goes a long way, and I think the response that you got from shutting down is an indication of that. So we're here for whatever you build next. Excited to have you back on when you have some ideas or have a product we can talk about, and good luck in the idea maze.
All right, thanks guys. This is super fun. Appreciate the invite.